How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing an in-the-bag video with my disc golf bag. I don't really have a better place to put it, so I'm just going to kind of hold it on my lap. And yeah, I carry the Innova competition bag, pretty standard, just like a tour bag. I got 24 discs in here right now, and just a bunch of stuff, minis, and the standard bag. Let's start off with the putters. Right now I'm using, for my main putters, I use 12-time KC Pro Aviators, and I really like the feel of this firm KC plastic in my hand, especially for putting. I just feel like it releases really cleanly, and I like the big bead on the side as opposed to the regular DX Aviators. And I definitely prefer the firm feel over the soft the soft JK Aviators. I like these a lot. I carry two of them. I'll switch over if one is not working out so well for me. I carry just two for putting. This is my driving KC Aviator because I don't like switching up putters for just driving. So I wouldn't ever switch to a Rhino, I don't think, or like a Joker from Pro Discus. I'll probably just stick to these. Like this, I can crank on this and it'll just go straight. As long as I release it on hyzer, it just goes straight, and I can get this thing close to 300 when I really crank on it. Moving on to some mid-ranges. I'm gonna start with my main mid-ranges, and then I'll go back to the filler ones. My main mid-ranges are rocks, and I carry 4 different rocks, 2 KC and 2 Rock 3s. So the first KC, this is my least stable. This one is pretty understable. I can flip it up on hyzer and make it go straight, but it's not quite as consistent for me as other discs in my bag as far as straight shots. But I do use this for a lot of turnover mid-range shots and for short hyzer flip straight mid-range shots. And it's really nice to have in the bag. I have another KC Rock. This one is stable. It's a heck of a lot newer, and it's still pretty worn because it's KC plastic, and it's not extremely durable, but it's a heck of a lot more durable than DX, as you guys all probably know. I like it a lot for straight shots. If I throw it really hard, I get a nice slow and hyzer turn to it, but I don't typically like to throw this one really hard to go straight. I have other discs that I like to do that with. And this thing, it really is like the KC Rocks for me are just money. I prefer these two over my Rock 3s pretty much any day. Carry 2 Rock 3s, both the one-time stamps. This one is the first one I have. If I can get the angle right, you can see this one has a pretty big dome, which is kind of uncharacteristic for the Rock 3s. But I really like it. It gives it some nice extra glide. Like this one's pretty beat in, and it's still really stable. And I like it because I can throw it really hard, flat, and it will get it'll get a slight turn, but it'll always come back. It's really nice for those kind of straight, hard shots that you want to turn just a little bit and then come back. This one is brand new, really. I think I got it last week, and it's really stable, and it's really just flat as a pancake, the way most Rock 3s are. And these rocks, rocks just feel amazing in the hand for me, and this one is really stable. I can throw it in headwinds and stuff like that, windy up shots. Moving on to the filler mid-ranges, I carry this MVP Axis that I won at a tournament. And this thing, if I have to compare it to any other disc, it flies a lot like a buzz, because I can throw it straight and it's just going to go straight unless I crank on it. If I crank on it and release it flat and straight, it's going to get a slow turn, but it'll come back at the end. But it's really nice because I can make this hold any line that I want it to, and it's still pretty much brand new. It's helping my game out quite a bit right now for a few holes at my local courses. For longer straight with soft hyzer mid-range shots, I do really like this Westside Warship because it's not really a mid-range, I don't think. because it's really fast. I kind of want to say it's like a slower. It's like a T-bird of mid-ranges, really. I think because it's almost as fast as a T-bird, and it's like a T-bird with no skip at the end. I think because T-birds do like to get a little bit of a skip. But this thing, I can crank on this thing and get it 350, 360, no problem. This West Side Lat 64 plastic, ridiculous amounts of glide. And then my most overstable mid-range is this limited edition Z drone that I picked up at Worlds this year. Drove there with my buddy over to Crown Point, Indiana, and it was a good time. It was a blast. And this thing, I like it a lot. It replaced my Gateway Demons that I had one in the bag, and it's a bit more consistent for me, and I like the plastic a little bit better. Moving on to the fairway drivers, the one that's probably seeing the most use right now in my bag, despite the fact that I carry 3 of a different kind that I do overall like better, even though this one's seeing is more use, is this Star Leopard. And this one is pretty domey. It's pre-flight numbers. I got it at a tournament with my players pack at the beginning. And man, these leopards though, they're so versatile. And I can throw it on hyzer and it flips up and goes straight, or I can get it to turn over really easily, and this thing holds a really nice line. And I honestly don't know what I would do if I didn't have a nice Star Leopard in my bag. Next, I carry 2 Champion T-Birds. This one is my flippy if I have to play a 1-disc round at a decently long course. It's going to be this one. This is the first T-Bird I ever had. It's slightly understable, I want to say. I can release it flat and it turns slightly and then it comes back. So it's slightly understable. This one is a bit lighter, but it's less beat in, so this one is stable, really. This is a 166, and I can bomb this thing. I can absolutely bomb this thing. It just goes straight for days, and then it hyzers off at the end, and it hardly ever turns over on me. Carry one more T-Bird. This is the new Avery Jenkins Star T-Bird, and man, this thing is beefcake. Beefcake. And I can throw this into any headwind, pretty much, and if I can't, then the next disc I'll show you is what I throw. But I absolutely love this disc. It's a nice skip disc because of the extra overstability, and normally Star Plastic is not quite as stable as the Champion Plastic, but I know Avery Jenkins wanted one that was built for power players, which is kind of ironic because he doesn't. The last in the bag that I saw of him, he wasn't carrying this disc, but I mean, I like it a lot. It's stable and reliable. Next is my Star Firebird, which you guys all know what these fire chickens do. They're sick, nasty, overstable, and I can sidearm this thing very reliably, very reliable hyzer, spike hyzer shots, reliable tomahawks. I wish I could thumb, but I can't. But I don't really need a thumber. If I go overhand, it's going to be a 2-finger tomahawk. But playing in Iowa or just anywhere in the Midwest, you kind of gotta have something as overstable as a Firebird. Moving on to my distance drivers, let's actually start with my main ones. With the least stable is an Eco Destroyer. Sorry, this one from the get-go, it was always really flippy, and I could easily roll it right out of the box, brand new, when I got it. And this thing holds a really nice anhyzer line, and I can get this about a 400-foot anhyzer out of this, and it's pretty reliable for that. It's not reliable though for hyzer flip to straight at all, and it just doesn't work. It just always wants to turn right. This one, it turns when I throw it hard and flat. It turns and then it comes back, and this is kind of my my tailwind flex destroyer, one that I don't have to turn over out of my hand to get a nice long flex shot, and I really like it a lot. I can get this thing for 410, 420 on just a normal regular flex shot, and I really like having this disc in the bag. Next, I have another Eco Destroyer here that I actually found this one, and before this one I had only experienced really understable Eco Destroyers, and this one was pretty stable, and it's starting to get a little bit understable on me right now because I can throw it on hyzer and it flips up and then turns just slightly and then it comes back. And it's still, I still want to say it's more stable than this one, but I think I can get this one a little bit further because I can just throw it on a little slight hyzer and it will always, pretty much always, hyzer back. This one is my most stable destroyer. It stands up to any headwind, and I mean, I kind of try to keep it that way, which is why I throw this one a little bit more, because I really want to keep this really stable destroyer, because destroyers just feel the absolute best in my hand, and this thing I can always trust it to not turn over into a headwind for me. Moving back to other filler things in the bag is understable stuff. I have a Champion Valkyrie, which is like the first distance driver I was able to get 300 feet. And this is the same one that I've had since I started. And this, I can hyzer flip it to straight and just laser beam straight, or I can easily turn it over. I can sometimes roll it, but I prefer to throw that really flippy Eco Destroyer. This next disc is Legacy Icon Cannon, and man, if you guys haven't thrown one of these, you've got to try it out, because this is the fastest, farthest flying disc on the market by far. And I've had my longest throw with this thing, and I got it like 450 at least, and I just released it flat, and it flexed all the way, just 450 feet at least, and it's really nice to have in the bag for really long flex shots. Next, which is slightly more stable, is I have a Proto Prodigy D3 in the bag right now, and this one, it's actually pretty stable. I can throw it flat, and it gets a slight turn, and then it finishes pretty hard. I can get it though. I can still get it when I really crank on it. I can get it 400 pretty consistently. It's a nice disc, I think, to have in my bag for me right now. My last two is I have a Gold Line Villain, which is pretty overstable, but not nearly as overstable as the Opto ones. And I feel like it definitely has a lot more glide. This one flies a bit more like a destroyer for me, with a slightly different feel and in, I think, a slightly better plastic. I really like the Gold Line plastic from Last 64 and the tournament plastic from Westside. And this thing is pretty overstable. I don't really throw it into a headwind though, because it likes to turn into a headwind for me. And my last one is the Westside Giant, which is really overstable. If you guys haven't thrown one of these, it's not nearly as overstable as those new stupid stable stilettos, but I like it a lot. I can get this thing 380, 390 on a big hyzer line, and it stays true pretty much the whole way. And that's my bag, guys. 24 discs in there right now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and play with confidence.